What AI systems or applications are you using at the moment?
So I'm going to be different than most people you talk to. I don't use AI. I don't trust the system. I know that it is making its own things based on, I think it's like writing its own research based on other research and pulling conclusions and making something and then saying, here's what I made. I
I
don't
see
like that.
ChatGPT writing everywhere now.
I see it everywhere. I worry that some chronic users could lose their skills in reasoning and
Mhm,
logic by letting ChatGPT do
mhm.
this for them. So I'm trying to avoid that and use it as little as possible. But also, I know that it's a really valuable tool. So I'm trying to think of good ways to use it.
I have a Google Workspace or business account. When Gemini had finished their deep research, there was a button that says save as Google Doc. So I didn't I didn't even
Love.
need to select or click on a button, copy, open, create a new document, paste. No, no, no. Just one button, one click, boom, new Google Doc.
Beautiful. I'm going to be using Gemini. So now we found a way to get me using Gemini. That's amazing. Because this is what AI was built for. It's just these
Mhm.
tasks that are repetitive and time consuming and don't really require that much brain
Mhm.
power.
Hello, hello. Today I have the pleasure to introduce Téa Phillips. Téa is the founder and CEO of ATS Innovations and the inventor of the MetaFlex Glove. MetaFlex is the world's first compression glove to stretch your fingers and strengthen your grip, designed as the easiest way to improve hand function. Thea, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be
Yeah, my
here.
pleasure. I'm really I'm always happy when I have a fellow engineer on the show because I remember when I was still working as an engineer, the Mac was absolutely not on my radar, and we we have so many other machines and especially Linux and Unix machines where we can do stuff. So I'm curious, which Mac are you currently using uh, to run your business?
I have a MacBook Pro that I bought in 2021. The second one I bought because the first one got stolen, which really sucked. I was down in Miami and someone broke into my car and stole my backpack, and that had my first MacBook. That was the first MacBook
Mm.
I ever bought, and I bought it to start my
Mhm.
startup. And I liked it so much that when it got taken, I got the exact same thing again.
And so you have a MacBook. Do you plug it to an external screen or you use the built-in screen of the MacBook?
I should probably get an external screen. I'm always like this close to my MacBook and I'm like reading and typing and I have to wear my glasses. Right now I just use it as it
Mhm.
is. I do have the keyboard
Mhm.
and I have a mouse and I actually just ordered something more ergonomic. I like this keyboard, but I wish it would be like this and have like
Mhm.
something because it's not very ergonomic and I'm working with hands all the time. And so when my fingers, when my joints, when my wrist hurt, like I really notice it. So I actually just ordered one of those creamy keyboards that like sounds nice when you're typing
Mhm.
on them. That's also just lifted a little
Mhm.
bit. But no external screen, though I should probably invest in one of those
Mhm.
next.
Yeah, when it comes to the keyboard, that's where I am absolutely not faithful to Apple. Most of the Apple keyboards stay in the box, and I'm really a fan of Logitech. They have a really nice
Mm-hmm.
wireless keyboard. The Also what's bothering me a little bit with the native Apple keyboard is the travel of the key. It's too not there isn't travel enough for me for my yeah to really feel that and but again when you have a clicky keyboard it can be tough when you are during in Zoom calls and stuff like that, so there's a balance.
And it's clicking, and yeah, I also agree with the travel of the key, like, I want it to be more of a sensory experience, and it's not. Even just moving my fingers
Hmm.
across, like, it's kind of nice that it's all flat, but I want,
Mhm,
when I was first learning how to type and type quickly, it was with those raised
mhm,
keys, and it feels nostalgic and it feels
mhm,
right. But I feel like as we advance in like laser technology and in the future, like as we're able to really map where things are, and have these small laser systems, that we're not going to have those buttons anymore at all. It's just going to be tracking where your hands are moving, and so we'll
mhm,
have none of that sensory experience. But hopefully whoever's designing that can still make it in a way that like feels nice to make those movements, and is ergonomic as well for the
mhm.
user.
Yesterday, I was teaching, giving a smartphone security training for a full day, and I caught myself trying to tap with my finger on the MacBook screen, and I was like, yeah, maybe one day we'll be able to do that.
That would be a nice feature to have, the touchscreen on the
Yeah.
MacBook. Um, Also, when we were talking about Star Trek, you think of, like, the ways that they project
Hmm.
things, and, oh, I just can't wait till our computer systems are a little more advanced, um, and we get to do that, and by that time, I'm not gonna know how to use it right, and I'm gonna be like that old person that they're like, "Click up in the left, click the X is up in the left," and
Hmm.
but they're gonna say, "Twist the wrist, you're not doing it," whatever it is. Technology is advancing at such a fast rate.
Hmm.
It's really fun to be alive right
Yeah,
now.
I fully agree. I believe we are in the best technological period ever, and it's super exciting. Well, I'm curious. We talked about keyboards, but do you use any dictation? Do you use your voice to actually interact with your Mac at all?
No, I don't like doing that. I don't think the system is where I want it to be. It's still like a little
Hmm.
clunky. It takes too long. I feel like I can type it faster than like I can press it and they're like listening, and then I tell them and then they're like, "Oh, I misunderstood this part." I don't like it. And I have Hey Siri turned off on all of my
Hmm.
devices because I don't want my phone listening to me even though I know she is. Like she knows everything even though that's turned off. So that's another security concern that I have, that maybe you know more about, because I'm a mechanical
Hmm.
engineer. I'm not a computer scientist, or like an IT professional, though I think it's really interesting and I do want to go back to school for computer science. But I feel like some of these things are always on even when you turn them off.
So for the microphone, I don't know, but for the webcam, I know it is actually a mechanical switch. So when you close the lid, or when to, let's say that you cannot activate the webcam on a Mac just with pure software, right? They could not, and also the little light that tells you that the webcam is active, this is also mechanical, and that cannot be spoofed, right? If you cannot have malware on a Mac that would activate the webcam and you not noticing it. So that's, yeah,
I like that.
that's
Thank you for clarifying that. Gives me some peace of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mind. I do think the microphone's on though. I think the microphone's on. If it's not a mechanical switch. I like the mechanical switch in the system that's together with the light and like if it's on or
Hmm.
not. And would they tell us? I don't think they'd tell us. I think data tracking and all of this is advancing so
Hmm.
fast that I mean the legislation here can't keep up with it.
Hmm.
And even if it could, that's just too much for our court systems. So that's going to be an interesting problem for us to continue looking at and trying to solve the digital privacy as we move into the
Hmm.
future.
I was listening to Security Now recently, and there was an episode where security researchers realized that Meta and other companies were completely circumventing the privacy features of the iPhone. And so even if you had set no tracking, you cannot access stuff in the background and stuff like that, they were still able to track you and like through a unique identifier. And the way they were doing that is they were actually, so it was inside the app, the Meta app. It was actually quickly launching a small web server. And guess what? That web server was listening from any application. So any other application that was on the iPhone who knew that that web server was active could just ping the web server and say, yeah, that user just did that, just visited the website, that just opened that app. And I was like, and they were caught with the hand in the jar, and they quickly stopped. When as soon as the security researchers published the report, they said, no, it's a bug. We didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, that's, you didn't mean to. So security, personal devices, and maybe we'll see a shift in the future, and maybe some security experts have already started doing this, really limiting what's on what device. Like, this device is connected to my socials, and this device has all of my
Mhm,
personal things that I want to keep private and out of the hands of Zuckerberg or
mhm.
whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
devices and the way they interact in our lives, it's all so new and
Mhm,
it's moving so quickly. Um, it's really interesting, and it could be a nice little business opportunity for someone who wants to educate the
mhm,
consumer and then make these kind of secure devices where you don't have to be a security professional to like have to know how to set it up, and it comes as is, and I give you instructions like only put this here, only put
mhm,
this here. Um, I don't think I have the time to work on
mhm,
it. So, dear listener, that's a good business
mhm.
idea.
Yeah. So let's move to the next segment of the show, the your favorite Mac apps. So which apps are you absolutely you cannot live without those apps on your Mac today?
Right now, it's my calendar. I'm busy, so I'm on my calendar all the time. I also like that my messages sync with my computer and my phone. I remember being in college and seeing people with Macs, and they were like texting, taking notes, and I'm like, I'm so jealous because I had like a Dell at that point, which was really good for running my engineering software. I really liked it. Also, I'm on Zoom, I'm on Slack, I'm on Spotify so I can listen to music sometimes when I need to like take a little reset. And I just downloaded a software called Clo, which is a fashion design software because I make
Mhm,
gloves. So I want to make new versions that are beautiful, and like the glove already works functionally really well. And now the next step is just like changing the design a little bit to make it a little bit prettier or a little bit more techy looking, or all of these avenues that we're going into. So those are my favorites right
And
now.
is it a native Apple, a Mac app, or yeah, it's a Mac app.
That one was a download.
It's a
Yeah, the
okay.
native
So it's
Mac
a yeah.
apps
So
that I
the
like the
download,
most, calendar.
because I remember the challenge was to find applications that run both on Windows and the Mac, and oftentimes you get stuck and you have only Windows applications. So then afterwards you have to find a solution to make those applications run on the Mac. But you found a Mac app, something that you install like that.
Yeah. Clo goes to both of them, but Slack is really important for my team, and that's also on multiple where it's on, Mac and other
Mhm.
PCs.
Yeah. And yeah, so did you install The Mac app for Slack, or do you connect via the browser?
I
The
have
app.
the app.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes it easier for me because then it'll give me notifications and I can quickly click into
Mhm.
it. Because I always have too many tabs open, and so if it was just in my browser, it wouldn't work. And I also have it on my
Mhm.
phone, so I can, I'm working in the middle of the night because I get notifications on Slack, and then I can, if I'm on my computer, connect with it, or on my phone, connect
Mhm.
with it. And then calendar constantly. I'm trying to plan like my personal life and when I can have dinner with my friends, and then when I have like a podcast recording in the middle of the night, which happens, or like a meeting with my manufacturer who isn't US based, and so we're on different time zones and we usually meet really late my time. Um, my calendar is something that I'm in multiple times a day, every single day. So that's my most used application for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, very good. So let's talk about AI a little bit. Um, what AI systems or applications um, are you using at the moment?
So I'm gonna be different than most people you talk to. I don't use AI. I really don't. I haven't found a way. Actually, I do sometimes when I need to do some quick research. Like recently, I just put a job application out to hire an executive
Mhm.
assistant, and so I quickly typed into ChatGPT, what are the average salary ranges in my area or my state or the entire country, so that I can offer competitive pay. But other than that, other than just those little quick researches that I know don't have to be, I'm not doing medical research, I'm not
Mhm.
doing legal research, I don't trust the system. I know that it is making its own things based on, I think it's like writing its own research based on other research and pulling conclusions and making something and then saying, "Here's what I made." But I don't, so it's doing that, and that makes it untrustworthy from a scientific and legal reason. Even if the conclusions it's making are right, I can't cite that when I'm
Mhm.
telling people with arthritis, this is why it helps. Like it has to be right now,
Mhm.
at least. I think we'll move into a place where AI doing research, once they build the model to where it's more trustworthy, is going to be standard practice because it can pull all of these things
Mhm.
at once. Um, but I don't use it from an operation standpoint because I want to like keep my brain sharp and healthy, and I don't want it to make my reasonings for me. I know a lot of people are using it to write articles and blogs. And if you're just trying to put out content quickly, sure, you do you, but if you wanna keep that skill, you're gonna lose that skill if you don't use it. So, I don't want it to do any of my reasoning or logic for me. I use it just for quick data pulling. Just tell me what you think these are, and then I can go and verify that
Mhm.
information. Um, but I don't use it very much. Yeah, outside of just looking at salary ranges, and I've just done that a couple times. We're just getting started
Mhm.
hiring. Um,
And when you say research, is it just the search capability where it just crawls the web and then pulls a few articles, or is it the deep research mode, the one where it goes for a few minutes and then comes back with a report?
I haven't used it in the deep research
Okay.
mode. I've only used it to pull salary
Mhm.
ranges. I have like experimented with it for other things, and I can tell when people are emailing me. Like I just posted this executive assistant position, and people will email me these bullet points that have emojis
Mhm.
in them, like the target hit, da 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 da. Da. Like I know that's not you
Yes.
writing it, um,
I can
and
I see
I
I
don't
see
like that.
ChatGPT writing everywhere now.
I see it everywhere. And I I worry that some chronic users could lose their skills in reasoning and
Hmm.
logic um, by letting ChatGPT do
Hmm.
this for them.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to avoid that and use it as little as possible. But also, I know that it's a really valuable tool, so I'm trying to think of good ways to use it. But just quick data
Mhm.
pulls have been the only way I've really used it so
Mhm.
far.
I've used deep research, and for instance, one of my plans is to actually expand internationally. So my training services, for the moment, I offer them only locally in Luxembourg. But because I'm teaching mostly in English anyway, and I was thinking, okay, maybe start try to reach the UK, maybe Canada, because I'm also French speaking. So Quebec is 6 hours difference, like New York. So when it's their morning, it's the beginning of my afternoon. So I could basically teach a 3 hour session during my afternoon, and it would be their morning, and actually they would be fresh in with their mind. And I was like, wow, that would be nice. And but then I had the question, okay, but what about from a tax perspective, right? And I was like,
Oh,
wow. And with the UK, with Brexit, so UK being out of the EU now, it changes the game when it comes to yeah, again, the VAT and stuff like that. And I launched a deep research. Actually, I launched two. One with ChatGPT, I have a plus subscription, and one with Gemini. And in both cases, it took them 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, but like pulling articles from the IRS. And and on top, it was three countries, right? Yeah, it was three countries that I wanted some research on. Uh, and in the end, the conclusion was the same. Green flag, go ahead with the UK as long as you stay B2B. Avoid Canada because there's going to be a nightmare tax wise. And then for the US, it was like, okay, Delaware and certain states were okay. And then
it's all
others you
different.
should,
Yeah.
and in the end, I asked them, both of them, okay, can you create a table and you list from most attractive to least attractive states in the US, right? And they both did a very good job, but there was an anomaly. ChatGPT put California way up compared to Gemini, and I was like, "What's happening?" And I double check the source that ChatGPT was using, and so ChatGPT had put on the table, "California is great because of this." I click on the source, I read the source, it doesn't mention California at all. And I was like,
That's
and
what
I
I'm
was like,
saying.
wow.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, Gemini, super accurate. Really, I double checked the sources. The sources were about the thing that it says. This is based on this source, and I could look and double check, and it was correct. And so now I have much more confidence in Gemini than in ChatGPT. And I don't know. Do you have a Google account, Thea?
I
Is
do
it
have a Google
is it a
account. Yeah.
free one? Or, sorry, is it a personal Google account or is it a Google Workspace for business account?
We do the workspace for business.
So maybe you don't know that, maybe you know, but you have actually Gemini for business. It's included in your plan. So you just need to go to gemini.google.com and you can do everything without giving away any any data to OpenAI. That's number one. And from my experience, recently over the past months or month and a half, I've done a lot of comparison between ChatGPT and Gemini 2.5 Pro, and a bunch of ChatGPT models. I can tell you, Gemini 2.5 Pro is much better, and especially I much prefer the way it responds. ChatGPT can be all over the place and it can be super extreme. So extremely agreeable and sometimes really contrarian. But the problem is most of the time it's actually pushing me in a direction like, do you know I can do that? Do you want me to do this as well? And I was like, no, I need to focus. don't put, yeah, thank you. I realize you can do more than what I ask you for, but no. I wanted to go in certain direction. It was pulling me in another direction.
They do have those little prompts at the
Yes.
end. I've never compared the 2, so thank you for telling me. I'll look into Gemini. Um, yeah, that's really, really cool. And so you used it in the same way that I did, data collection, but then you verified and you're
Mhm.
like, GPT was collecting and compiling data that wasn't like really the conclusion that it should
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
come
Exactly.
to. But
Yeah.
Gemini
Gemini was.
worked.
And on top of that, because I have a Google Workspace also for business account, when both had finished their deep research, in Gemini, there was a button that says save as Google Doc. So I didn't I didn't even
Love.
need to select or click on a button, copy, open, create a new document, paste. No. Just one button, one click, boom, new Google Doc. I just had to file it somewhere. That's it. And
Google is on top of
yes,
innovation. They're absolutely on top of innovation. I wonder who owns Alphabet. I haven't looked into it. The
yeah.
company? Who who is it? Who is this billionaire, trillionaire? Because they're with everyone using it. Well, we're already using it as a search engine, and as you
Hmm.
think about Gemini, it's just another way to use it as a search
Hmm.
engine. But man, them having better results than ChatGPT just means that they're going to be the premier AI
Hmm.
tool, and so they're collecting even more data. Like they're like we've been on top for a while, and we're staying there because we've got this next level of product that everybody
Hmm.
needs.
Yeah, I was afraid for a while
Yeah.
that it would be another Kodak moment or something like that, right? That Kodak invented the digital camera, but now disappeared because they didn't want to kill their yeah, the way they were making money.
If you're gonna If you're gonna stay on top of innovation, you have to keep
Yeah.
innovating, and you can't be married to the product that you have
Hmm.
right now. That's one of the things we're experiencing at MetaFlex is taking all this user feedback and making it better. And that means that maybe some old products get
Hmm.
discontinued. I'm just looking into the future and thinking how people like it best. Um, but yeah, to me though, it's
Hmm.
exciting. So I don't know what's going on with Kodak. I'm gonna grab my charger. My phone, my computer's
Hmm.
almost dead. Didn't have it plugged up. I've been traveling so much. We just came back from Indy, where we did WNBA All Stars Weekend and started presenting MetaFlex to all of these All Star basketball
Hmm.
players. Yeah, it's been a good time. I also think a bunch of tech nerds, like professional gamers, um, would really find some benefit in using MetaFlex, not only for training so that you can wear it while you're gaming, and then it has the resistance so that when you take the gloves off and you hit the keys the next time, like you're hitting them
Hmm.
faster, but also recovery. I'm sure their hands
Hmm.
hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, coming back to Google Workspace for Business, have you ever played with Notebook LM?
No, I haven't.
I think when you were talking about um, not really trusting an LLM, an AI system for doing research or like really literature stuff and things like that, I fully agree with you because there is always the risk of hallucination. But Notebook LM is different, and I've started using it more and more. The way Notebook LM works is that, yes, it is powered by Gemini in the sense that you can interact with it using natural language. But it is a different system. It's called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. And with Notebook LM, you can give it up to 350 sources. This could be Google Docs, this could be web pages, this could be PDFs, but it could also be audio file and video files. 350 sources maximum. And what's happening is that it is creating in the background a knowledge graph. And whatever prompt or query you ask it, it will only pull from those sources. And so theoretically, it cannot hallucinate. So the probability of hallucination is like a fraction of the typical ChatGPT and the Gemini, the normal Gemini. And I've been really astonished by what it can do. I have given it 2 tax documents, EU tax document. Like, really, you need to be to be a legal expert to really understand what it's all about. I asked it very simple questions and I had very nice answers with the citations, and I could click on the number 2, number 3, number 4, and it would show me this is the article that is related to your query. And on top of that, you can easily create a mind map, and you can create a small podcast. It's like 2 people, 2 AI avatar talking to each other about the topic. And
That's
it's
so
really
neat. And so it does the
yes,
podcast and then also does like an
yes,
article just discussing using all of these
yeah.
sources.
The built
What a
built
powerful
in,
tool.
it's called so in the interface you have 3 panes. The left pane is the sources. The middle pane is like the chat, the conversation area. And the right side is what is called the studio. And the studio, this is where you can generate a podcast. You can select up to 3 lengths, so short, medium length, and long being hour and more, short being 5 to 10 minutes, and the middle one between 20 to 40 minutes. Plus, but you can guide them. You can prompt the the two podcast hosts. It's a man and a woman, and you can also, because on the left side you have all your sources, you can tick and untick the sources, and you can say only create a podcast about those sources. Please explain me those sources and they're using analogy. It's unbelievable how entertaining it can be. And then on top of that, you have predefined artifacts, right? One is the mind map, another one is an FAQ, another one is a timeline. So you give it a bunch of documents and it will pull all the dates and then give you another document that says, okay, from further in the past to present day, with all the dates, the names, plus, and every time it gives the citations. At any point in time, you click on a button and you know exactly where the info is coming from. And it's not pulling from like a LLM, it's knowledge. It's only pulling from the sources that you give it. And
That's pretty
I
amazing.
think that you could give a bunch of studies that you can find online and then do the research on those documents. And there is a new feature, I have not tested it yet, that you can ask Notebook LM to do a search to find sources and then import those sources into Notebook LM. In the past, you had to do that thing manually. You had to import everything. Now you can do a small research inside Notebook LM, then select the one that you want to keep, and then work from there. And
I will be
That's
using this. This is a really
notebooklm.google.com, right?
interesting tool.
Notebooklm.google.com is
Okay, okay,
the
okay.
and because you have a Google Workspace for Business account, you have the plus version of Notebook.lm. So you have the
Love it.
you have the most number of sources, the most capabilities that you can have with Notebook.lm, and you can share a notebook with your team. So one use cases that I've been exploring with a friend of mine is that because that friend has a team, and it was the idea of putting all their SOPs, documentation in a notebook LM in a notebook, then share that with the team. And when you share a notebook with the team, you can say share the entire notebook so that they can tweak the sources and stuff like that. Or you can say only give them access to the middle part, so they can only query the notebook.
Oh, so you have all your SOPs and it's like, what's the process for
Exactly.
da-da-da? And then it'll tell you. That's kind of
Yes.
amazing. That's kind of amazing. I'm going to be doing that. Absolutely. Because we're writing all of our SOPs. We're bringing on a team. I'm trying to get everybody everything they need. That's really interesting. There's so many cool new apps and
Mm-hmm.
softwares that are coming
Mm-hmm.
out right now.
And I forgot there's one more thing I need to do about Notebook LM. You can pull Google Docs, obviously, from Google Drive. But the beauty is there is a sync button, which means that if you pull your SOPs, right? You have created SOPs in Google as Google Docs. Then you change the SOPs in Google Docs. You can go back in Notebook LM and says refresh. Boom, it will it will take the new ones.
They thought of everything.
It's like when I discovered that, I was like, wow, they really thought about the user experience on this one.
I'm taking notes. This is like a master class.
And I think that's for everyone listening to the show today. It's if you have a Google Workspace for Business account, look at what you can do. Google has been really on the ball. Something else I discovered that I've been using more and more is actually Gemini inside Google Sheets. So you can have a big spreadsheet, a lot of data, and I had results from a quiz, from a questionnaire, and it was unstructured data. So it was like text responses, not numbers. And I was curious about the correlation between two answers. And it did by itself two different types of unstructured data correlation, convert it from unstructured to structured, showed me the graph with the numbers, and I could visualize that actually there was no correlation. but I was like, and afterward I was skeptical. I was like, no, it's not possible. I went to Wikipedia and I searched the names of those two things that he did by itself without me asking for it. And I was like, no, it's legit. It's these are two.
It used the right
Exactly.
formulas.
Use the right method, the right methodology to analyze these unstructured data from my hundreds of lines of responses. And I was like, wow.
So there's something that I need to do, but that will take me a lot of time. And I would love if there was some system that was already built to do this. Here's my thing. The organization of media files for our photo and video for our brands. We're bringing in everything, and I know we need a Sheets document that says, here's the photos of this category and this category and with this model and with this model and linking to it and organizing it so you don't have to scroll through the whole
Mhm.
thing and then, oh, there's that photo that I was looking for. I'm thinking that I need to make a Sheets document, and then I need to mentally categorize, okay, this is doing this activity and with this model. But if there's something that exists that you know of that'll look through all of those photos and videos and say, okay, this is and make its own categories. Do you know if that exists?
I don't know of a tool that would exist, but immediately my mind jumps to a Google Gem. I would, if I were in your situation, I would create a gem, and a gem is like a custom GPT. So because you have a paid account, you have access to gems as well. If you go to gemini.google.com, you will see my gems, and you can create a new gem. A gem is what? You give it a name, instructions, and knowledge. I would create a gem with the instruction that are, please help me. You are an image categorizer, and these are the types of images that you can expect to find. And please refer to the
Mm.
examples that you have below in your knowledge. And in the knowledge, you give one or two pictures representing the category of product that you want to be associated with. So basically, you kind of train it to say, okay, if you see something like that,
Mm.
it's category 1. If you see something like that, it's category 2, and so on and so forth. And that is in the knowledge base, right? And it could even be a Google Doc, actually. In a Google Doc, you have first a two-column table, first column the image, second column the category. And then afterwards, you just upload images. You said categorize this, categorize this, categorize this, categorize. And yeah, so that would be one way. Another way could be same thing. So you create the gem, right? So it's still gem as the brain, right? But inside Google Sheet, in a column of cells, you put all the pictures that you want categorized. And then when you are in Google Sheet now, on the right side, you have a Gemini panel. And that's also relatively
Mm.
new. You can invoke a gem from Google Sheet. And you can say, at my image categorizer. Can you look at what's on column A and put in column B the category, please? And if that doesn't work, there is an AI function now in Google Sheet. You say equal AI, open parentheses, double quote, put your prompt, double quote, semicolon, the range of cells that are needed for the input, and the output will be in the column where you have equal AI, open close parentheses.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna be using Gemini. So now we found a way to get me using Gemini. That's amazing. Because this is what AI was built for. It's just these
Mhm.
tasks that are repetitive and time consuming and don't really require that much brain
Mhm.
power. It's not like you're having to think logically and do all of this. You're making the logic and then having it
Mhm.
pull in.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The last automation I implemented on my Mac using shortcuts and ChatGPT is to rename screenshots based on the text contained in the screenshot.
That's amazing. That's so smart. I have so many screenshots. Screenshot. Da,
Exactly.
da, da, da,
I
da.
had at one point I had 300 of those files. Or I have an automation that puts them from the desktop to the downloads folder at 11 p.m. So they were not on the desktop, but they were on my downloads folder. I had all those screenshot, date and time, screenshot, date and time, and I was like, nah, I need to find a way. And then I fired up shortcuts. So it's a built-in Apple app on the Mac, and I found an old script or an old automation I had that was actually invoking or sending a prompt to ChatGPT via the API version of ChatGPT. And what I did is first step was extract text from image. If there is no text, exit. right? Because it could be just my face. And okay, no.
Yeah.
If there is text, then I had this is the model, this is the system prompt, this is my prompt, and yeah, ask ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT based on the text in the image, please provide a name that is below, and I think I said 30 characters or 40 characters long. I didn't want something too long. And yeah, and so I afterwards I get that, and I just prepend the date the screenshot was taken. So I still have year dash month dash day space the name that ChatGPT provided dot png on the JPEG, and that's done now automatically. As soon as I have a screenshot that lands in the downloads folder, it gets renamed with the text in it, or it stays the same, but it gets tagged screenshot or processed. I don't remember, so that it doesn't try to do it again and again and again.
Nice. I need to get into shortcuts and play around on it.
Mhm. Okay, so we are almost at the end of the show. If you were in charge of the Mac division at Apple, what would be your first priority?
Um, I would make it touchscreen. I would look into it. I'm sure they've looked
Mhm,
into it. And I assume that they ended up with some like longevity concerns or something. But the iPhone is touchscreen. So give me let me touch the screen. I want to touch the screen. Additionally, I want this keyboard to be more ergonomic, and I want the mouse to be more ergonomic too. It doesn't move in a way that make your hands feel good. I get so tired of typing
mhm,
all day. And I think if we were able to put the hand in the this is so you know the normal position, this is the optimal hand position, but when I'm typing it's
mhm,
like this. It's like cuz it's so low, it needs to
mhm,
be up. So I would work on the ergonomics um of the whole thing. And then also I would make it touchscreen cuz I also just want to move around on it. There's the iPad, there's the iPhone, like they can make the laptop
mhm.
touchscreen.
Yeah, I'm sure they can. I think it's just I think it's a matter of principle at this point in time. And same way with the mouse and keyboard, right? So at the beginning of the Mac, design was actually functionality, but I have the impression that design became aesthetics more than really functional ergonomic things. And yes, it's the mouse is a beautiful object, but when you
It's
when you try
pretty.
to to charge it, you can't use it. And
Yeah, yeah. They've stepped away from functionality, and I think to your point, they've moved on to it looks pretty, but it started with this is innovative, this
Mhm,
is new, this is the best thing, this is the most user friendly, this makes the most sense. And now it's like this is nice to look at, but someone's going to come and they're going to make something that is the most ergonomic and the most user friendly, and they could outseat Apple at the top. Because what people are going to care about more and more as we're doing health research is how do I protect my health while I'm working all day or while I'm on my
mhm.
computer. So I would, if that were me, I'd be prioritizing
Mhm.
ergonomics.
Yeah, I fully agree. Well, thank you very much, Thea. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
Happy to be here. It was so much
So where
fun.
can people find you online?
You can go to metaflexglove.com, METAFLEX glove.com to learn about the MetaFlex Glove and our story. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. I'm on there. I should be on there more, but I'm on there, and I share some thoughts and how the company's going. I'd be happy to to talk to anybody about anything and help any budding entrepreneurs or tech
Mhm.
enthusiasts with anything that I can. And then, yeah, if you want to just follow MetaFlex, we're on all of the social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're moving into others. So if you want to see us on other accounts, go to metaflexglove.com, hit the contact us page, and tell us where you want us to be. But yeah, thanks for listening to the show.
Yeah, thank you. I will put a link, or I will put multiple links in the show notes so that the listener and the viewer on YouTube as well will be able to contact you online. Very good. So, and if like Téa, you would like to share how you are using your Mac to run your business, it's simple. Just visit macpreneur.com/apply. If you are already on Podmatch, just click on the button and you will land on the show profile. Otherwise, fill the application form and I will get back to you within a few days. Once again, it's macpreneur.com/apply. In the comments below, please share your main takeaway from this episode. And if not done yet, please subscribe to my channel so you will get more helpful tips on how to run your business on your Mac. And until next time on the Nashvers, wishing you a great day.
Thank you for watching the Macpreneur podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, please leave a comment and share it with a friend right now.